honestly feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili. From young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready. Who ready?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the One-on-One Sports Show here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I'm Mr. Bennett, joined by my partners as always. I got my brother Dante in the building. Shawnee's in the back, so is the coach. Good that you guys joined us on this Wednesday edition and first week after the NFL, so we're going to get into all of it tonight. You guys are good here? Dante, can you hear me good? Coach, you good? Awesome. All right, everyone's good here? All right, cool. All right, so make sure when you come in tonight, make sure that you hit the like button as you come into the show tonight. Certainly helps the algorithm, and also any cash apps or super chats that you want to give to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. You see those scrolling at the bottom of the screen, so make sure you click there, and then anything that you want to give to us personally, we'd appreciate any support that you give us. Our cash apps, individual cash apps, are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And so we're going to get into it tonight. We got a lot going on tonight with football. We got a major certainly fight of the decade potentially coming up certainly this weekend, so we're going to get into all that today. So we good. Just heard an echo in the back. Hopefully everyone's good. Okay, Dante will be back in a minute. Okay, cool. Let's do a check on everyone, see how everyone's doing. Brother Shawnee, how you doing tonight, sir?
Good. Been a busy day, but ready to get things kicked off.
I heard that. And how you doing, Coach?
Oh man, it's Wednesday, man. Wednesday's always a balanced day for me. So,
hump day, right? Wednesday's hump day. I heard.
I didn't want to hit him with the old school. Yeah, absolutely.
I got you. All right, man. Let's get into this, man. So again, first block of the night. So again, we have the kickoff with Dallas and with the Eagles. We all know about. We talked about last week with the trade of Michael Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. We'll get into that a little bit later. So you have the kickoff, Dallas going to Philly, and the game kind of got off to a very shaky start. So right off the rip, he had Jalen Carter, I guess, is at very early in the game. He gets into some sort of exchange with Dak Prescott, spits at him. Now, again, for all the Philly fans, right, we all saw Dak Prescott. He did spit, but he spit on the ground. But Jalen, I guess, took exception to that, and so he spit directly at Zach. And the NFL just came out today with the fine, so he's going to be suspended 1 game, and he's been fined $57,222 for the infraction. But, nevertheless, though, Dallas got off to a good start. Dallas, I think, overall looked pretty good. But clearly they had some issues containing Jalen Hurts in the run. Certainly, we'll talk about, was that the Micah effect, him not being there. And you also had, with the weather being where it was, you had this big thunderstorm that had a very long delay getting back into the game. And, just a lot of things just went wrong. So I just want to, just from the guys here, just get your early impressions. First, if you want to talk about the infraction with Jalen Carter first, and we even saw another infraction in a college game where, again, a player just spit at somebody. So I don't know what's going on with all the spitting. When's that becoming in vogue again? But the initial impressions on the game, on Philly, the Cowboys in general, and then also the Jalen Carter incident. A lot to chew on right out the gate. So we'll go to Shawnee, and we'll just kind of go on that down the line and, chop this up.
Well, first of all, this probably is one of my, I know it's Wednesday, but it's still no difference because only week 1 has passed. But the week 1 is my favorite overreaction Monday of the season because it's amazing some of the takes and opinions you hear after just one game. People are already starting to, throw a team away based on a week 1 performance, and all that stuff. So, week 1 overreaction Monday is always the best overreaction Monday of the season. But as for this, with Carter, I don't know what he was doing, man. I was watching the replay, And Dak wasn't really paying attention to him at first. He just spit over his lineman's shoulder because Dak spits a lot. He spits a lot. So that's what he was doing. He was just spitting, and then it looked like after he spat, he locked eyes with Carter, and then it looked like he was just kind of smiling. I think he said like, what, I don't know. He just talking on the field, but Carter didn't spit on him for whatever reason. So it's definitely like you mentioned. Dak spat on the ground. He wasn't spitting at him, and then that's one of the worst things he could do to a man. Spit on him. I'm surprised. I don't think his linemen saw it, because generally you talking about a fight what happened between the linemen, but I don't think they saw it. I think it was just pretty. It just came out of nowhere. The game just started. They wasn't even doing anything. So nobody was expecting any type of malice per se. And I know it's a rivalry, but they don't do that. But as the game went on, the Cowboys looked good. The offense looked steady. They wasn't like looking great, but it looked steady. They had a nice balance going on. The defense, I know people bring up the Micah, him not being there because Hurts was able to break containment a lot, especially in the first half. But one thing I did notice, that's why they was able to contain Barkley. Now, they did a good job with inside runs.
Yeah, limited to 60 yards rush for the game.
Now, that they did do. So I recognized that immediately, because that was if you think about the last 2 or 3 seasons, they was just getting gassed up the middle. But that definitely was an immediate improvement on that. And then you saw saying after that lightning delay, when they came back after that, the defense as a whole was playing better. I don't think Philly, I forgot who scored because I think only 3 points were scored all second half. I forgot it was the Cowboys or Philly. But yeah, it was a good game. Definitely, I saw the highlight real quick. It flashed up. I believe Cowboys looked like the better team that game, but unfortunately, CeeDee Lamb could not deliver. All his catches could have been big. I believe he could have finished the game with over 200 yards if he just would have caught his passes. I know people say that last drop he had, he's like, no, I said, no, it touched both of his hands. And at the time, CD was like second highest paid receiver in the NFL when he got his contract.
That's right.
So you a playmaker. You get paid as a playmaker. You're supposed to make those plays. You give that chance to Jamar Chase or Jefferson, or even other big name receivers that he's supposed to be up there with. They would make that catch. So I look at it. He had 4 drops. That one drop, the post, that was a killer. That hit him all in the chest. But it happens. I don't know if it's related to players or not. Playing in the preseason. So they just get their timing down. I remember people was trying to see what the lack of player, snaps in the preseason, does that affect teams in week 1? I believe it does, because teams don't really play nothing until week 1. But other than that, it was a good game. It was definitely a good game to kick off the season. And as we saw, it just got better when the other teams played on Sunday.
Gotcha. Coach, your thoughts on the game, on the incident? So a lot going on to kick off the 2025 season. So what do you want to tackle?
Man, the Cowboy fans are the saddest fans in America when they lose, man. I got friends that be lifelong Cowboy fans, man. They be crying on their pillow too. But I think, with Jalen, I think it's time for him to go ahead and talk to somebody. I think he was too caught up in the game. He's already served his suspension, so he gets to play the rest of the season. And they just took a 1-game salary. So since he didn't play, he's already served it, so he can play this week. But, somebody got to go get a hold of him, man, so he won't ruin his career, because he's a hell of a player. And let me tell you something. Dallas didn't look better than Philadelphia. Dallas looked better. They look good overall. I think the defense has improved, yes. If CeeDee Lamb doesn't be a CeeDee Lamb this year, Dallas could struggle. And they're going to have to get the other receiver involved more. Get him involved more early, because CeeDee Lamb going to have to show that and run the ball. But you know, it was a good little game, man. You know, he got to be more focused. CD wasn't focused. You know, he's supposed to make those plays, especially those two-hand touch ball plays. So, but yeah, man, it's gonna be an interesting series, man. Philadelphia looked like the team to beat. I can tell you that. They look balanced on defense even without Carter. And I think once they get their running game together, because Saquon did have a touchdown and he did have 60 yards, at least 56.
Yeah.
It's okay week 1. He ain't played all season. So that's good. That's perfect. Next 2-3 games, he going to be leading the league in rushing.
Gotcha. Dante? You muted. You still muting out.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You took the words right out of my mouth about Carter, because even though he's a rival opponent, he's a great player, and I don't want to see a great player wasted. I don't want to see him wasted. What's up, Tommy V? I see you hype about your Raiders, but I'll say this: Saquon Barkley had his last 11 carries, he had 8 yards. So the defense definitely buckled up after the storm, but it's one of the wildest things. There was just like, I don't do moral victories, but I will say, hey, if my best player that I always expect is going to come up short in game 1, hey, I can make a pretty safe bet he's not going to do that in other times. And so where the ball's just, he's just coming up and ball hitting him in the chest. And, I will say Pickens does need to get involved. They got him involved earlier. His numbers would have looked better if he would have had that touchdown where the guy got the PI on him. But I feel like, hey, you come out, you take a loss in the divisional game. They were hyped up. The emotions were too high. Next game, you have to keep your emotions in check. There was too much scuffling and penalties. Like Pickens did get a 15-yarder. So it's like those things need to be cleaned up. But I'll say this. Javonte Williams surprised me. I know it's been talked that, hey, he had the knee injury. He'll look better. He did look better early. And I will say it will be a back rotation. But the absolute killer is you didn't have the back from Texas, Jadon Blue. He was not active, and he's the guy with the speed threat. And like, hey, you got caught by a linebacker as a running back. And it's like, dang, not only did you get caught, you got caught, and then you fumbled. And so that was like, two cardinal sins as a back. So it's just like those things need to be improved. But I will
Miles
say,
Sanders, Dante. That was
Miles Sanders needs to. He's going to still be active because what they're saying is Jadon Blue, he does it. He's not good enough in pass protection, which a lot of young backs aren't, and being in the playbook. So that's something they've highlighted. The only thing is what he's done now is cool with accountability, but some YouTubers are looking at it and looking at the film and saying, hey, Lamb dropped a lot of passes and he wasn't great in the run blocking downfield. Neither was Pickens. Like one play, Pickens just kind of swiped by a guy and didn't really do nothing. He wasn't engaged. And so it's like, we saw game 1. Hey, we saw the bad of what he can bring. So I would say it behoove him, if you want to get paid and if the coaches want to keep him involved, keep him engaged, they need to get him the football. And I would say for the defense, it was 3 halves for everybody. It was the first half, the second half, and then after the storm. Both offenses stunk after the storm. There was no rhythm. But I would say that offensively, the Cowboys gotta get in the zone. You can't have it in the red zone fumbles, and then obviously the turnover with the fumble. But all things considered, hopefully they come out next week against New York, handle business. And I will say that I know they're looking at bringing in another defensive end with Clowney. I would say the ends look fine. I'm just interested to see can they consistently get pressure without blitzing as much. They got a lot of blitzes in the second half, and they got to contain because there's a lot of quarterbacks that can run. They have to do better with quarterback contain.
Now, let me just play devil's advocate, though. So you lost to the Eagles without their best defensive player. So he gonna be back in that game. Again, CD can make up for his catch or whatnot, but again, he's a disruptor. He's their best pass rusher. So you still optimistic still with the with his absence.
And this is why I say, and this is the crazy thing. Dallas lost the game without their best defensive player, and they played a good, tough defensive game. So, you know what I'm saying? If both of those players was there.
Yeah, but the thing is, but that guy's not coming back, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, for them to play that defense, that's what I said. I think their defense overall will get better as a whole. Mm-hmm. I think their defense is going to be more well-rounded. going forward. But the offense, CeeDee Lamb, he got to be all world.
Yeah, he's definitely in the doghouse week one for sure. But moving on, so it was already said, Coach, you believe that the Eagles certainly are the best, seem like the best team in the conference. But Green Bay may have something to say about that. So here it is. Everyone's talking about Detroit still being one of the dominant teams in the NFC North. They got dominated by them. Michael Parsons played. He was having back problems going into the game. Comes in, really dominates. And so I think they got two devastating edge rushers on that team. Love is getting more experience here. I think this was a statement win. I don't know if this means is it over for the Detroit one. They had their. It's like how teams kind of fall apart after after a loss, and I think they're still wincing from that NFC Championship game a couple years ago. They haven't been as good since. It seemed like they've been in a decline, but it seemed like Green Bay has definitely stacked up, beefed up their defense, and people could be making the argument now is, are they the team? The biggest threat certainly to the Eagles, and then could they possibly overtake the Eagles in that division with that defense, with those new additions? So, but I was very impressed by this win by Green Bay and Detroit. I don't know if this is the end of the run, but they something still not right with that team. Jared Goff, is he still going to be that guy? So a lot of faults here I'm seeing, but Green Bay, don't count those guys out either. So, Shawnee, what was your take on the game? And do you think the Green Bay is a legit conference contender? I'm not going to say Super Bowl contender, but conference contender. And are they the biggest threat to the Eagles?
As I'm thinking about the NFC, because the NFC is not as stacked as the AFC. Pretty much you have two teams people believe as playoff contenders in the NFC East, which is the Eagles and the Commanders. Cowboys is an X factor. You really don't know what they're going to do. NFC North used to have three teams, but now, it's too early on the Lions. But about the Lions, though, I know it's just game one, but like I've mentioned multiple times on this show, coaching matters in football probably more than any other sport. And because I think Detroit could turn around because they definitely have the talent. They have the talent. Now it's just going to take some weeks or whatnot for the QB and the new OC to get in sync. Same thing on the defensive side of the ball. They got to find their groove in. I like Campbell as a head coach. He does a good thing of, being the CEO of the team and whatnot. But just coaching matters because definitely Ben Johnson and Jared Goff, he knew what plays to call to keep Goff in that rhythm. Plus Ben Johnson, when he was with the Lions, he's still trying to figure it out with the Bears. But with the Lions, they had motion. They just had, all type of stuff he was able to mix in. But more importantly, he had a good relationship with his QB and the play calling and whatnot. So that just takes time and to sync properly between the QB and the OC. Same thing on the defense side of the ball. But I think they'd be all right because they do have the talent. I still think they're probably the most talented team in that NFC North. They just got Packers, I believe, still have their same coaching staff. Meanwhile, the other team who won the division last year, they basically got a new whole coach staff beside the head coach. So, it was a good win for the Packers. Like I said, it's only week one, and these two teams play. I don't know when the next time they play. I don't know if it's the end of the season or what. But, then they're going to be playing at Detroit at that. So you'll see if anything changes. But, yeah, it was a good game. Love had a good game. Parsons, he got his one sack. Only thing about Parsons, I don't know if y'all remember when he first played, he didn't play the first two snaps of the game. He played that third snap because it was a passing play for Detroit. But right when he came in, he got like a big ovation from the crowd and whatnot. It was like a shot of energy to that stadium and the defense. So if anything, Michael's gonna bring the energy. if anything, he's going to bring the energy. Now I know he's on a pitch count because he's dealing with his back, but yeah, it was an impressive win by the Packers. But as I think about it, I still think the Buccaneers are going to be there. Yeah, they're a team that people don't want to look about it, but remember, Buccaneers gave everybody hell last year in the playoffs. I think who they lose to? The Lions?
Hold on, man. They lost. Come on, man.
No, but they was going blow for blow with them. But people don't give them. They throw them to the side. They're not really high on what's his name, Mayfield.
Oh man, let's stay with the Packers and this NFC over in North. It's our North over here, right? Packers, they deserve to win. They had a joke with when you get Parsons, one of the top 3 defensive players in the league, your defense is gonna play well. And Green Bay's defense is already somewhat stacked, right? So with the head coach, he's been there. He's running the plays. He's calling the plays. With Detroit, you can't lose 2 of your top coaches in the same year and really come out the gate strong. You got 2 new coordinators on both sides of the ball. That's a whole mixture of new bag over there. And those coaches who left are winning coaches. I think both of those coaches are going to be okay with their teams. But Dan Campbell's a defensive coach. So it's going to be interesting, man. Is Montgomery still with Detroit?
Yeah.
Well, they need to make him the up the middle back because Gibson is not a 3-down back. He gonna hurt them more. He can get around the edge, but he's not off tackle in between the tackle back. So they're gonna have to figure that out. Their passing game gonna have to pick itself up because I've seen a couple of drop passes, but it's still early in NFC North, man. So Chicago.
Now keep in mind now, Hutchinson, even though he played, I think he's still recovering from injury and whatnot. So he's been compromised, or whatever. I don't know how effective he's going to be this year. That was a serious injury that he had. He may need to play for through the year until he gets right, providing he stays healthy again. So yeah, I don't know if the window is sailed on Detroit. Sometimes you're that it team, and they were certainly a couple of years ago they were that team for a minute, but they might be in decline. We'll just have to see. But definitely be following them the rest of the way. Dante, your thoughts on Green Bay? Are they the biggest threat to the Eagles? Are they contenders for the NFC at this point from what you saw, or is too early to tell? You're muting again, sir.
I think they're contenders. I think they're contenders for sure. I would say it's super early, but from adding a dynamic pass rusher in him and having 2 pass rushers, I would say I'll still want to see later as it goes on in the season how it does with losing an interior player like Kenny Clark, who was vital to their defense for years. But what I'll also say is this: Detroit is in trouble because I totally forgot about Frank Ragnow retiring. So close to the start of the season, you didn't really get a chance to replace him. And Kevin Zeitler, their other guard, so their interior was trouble. And then,
there you go.
What's his name? Penei Sewell, one of the best tackles in the league. He had problems with Micah. He had problems with him, and that's something that you're going to have to see him twice a year. So I think that when they play again on Thanksgiving, that's going to be must-see TV because, really both games are going to be good this year on Thanksgiving. But I would say I'm not throwing it out on the Lions yet. I would say the NFC North, whoever wins the North, right now the Packers obviously are in the lead. They're going to be in a strong position to be a contender to the Eagles. Because the Eagles definitely probably still the most talented roster, but the Packers and the Lions are definitely up there. So
are those the only 2 teams that could really realistically, looking down the rest of the schedule, are those the only 2 teams that could probably compete against the Eagles?
Maybe the Buccaneers. I just have to see them. Maybe so. I don't want to totally.
Buccaneers got to look out for Dallas. I don't see it happening, baby.
Yeah. And I would say, I think Washington. They look, and even though it's the Giants, they look pretty good in their debut. But we'll see where they're at. I do want to say one more comment about. I didn't have a slide for it, but one more comment about the NFC North. So again, the Monday night game, Minnesota and Chicago. Chicago was up. I don't know. This is rookie season. Second year for Caleb Williams. That last drive, he was missing guys. He had, because it was important. Even though they scored a touchdown, the important thing, they scored it with 2:02 left, and the guy ran it out to take it under 2 minutes, and they only had one timeout. And so, but he could have scored a lot earlier. So again, he's still missing guys or whatnot. They lost control of that game. Shout out to McCarthy, threw the pick six, but came back, had some moxie later on, definitely got some swag in him and whatnot. So I think he definitely it just in one game changed the narrative in terms of where his trajectory is going to go. I don't know if Minnesota's going to be, sort of in the running as much this year, but certainly McCarthy can show that kind of, can overcome that. But Caleb, I'm not seeing the progress even with this new. I know he's got a new coach, Ben Johnson, but what were your thoughts on his performance? Only being able to muster 10 points for a game and down I guess 17 because he got the late touchdown. But again, I'm just seeing some things, his accuracy and whatnot. I'm just not seeing a lot of progress at this point. He clearly missed that guy wide open touchdown, and he clearly overthrew him, saw him too late. So, what were your thoughts on that game and on the progression of Caleb Williams at this point?
Well, I think McCarthy. I think he's going to be a successful quarterback as long as he stays with the Vikings, because he has a hell of a coach for a head coach that's a QB whisperer.
Yeah,
Kevin McConnell, he's just not a coach that's like in everybody whose name in everybody's household. But if there's one thing that dude can do, it's coach quarterbacks. So as long as he pay attention to that dude, I think he'll have a solid NFL career. Now go to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is that. Because any team would have. Caleb Williams had a hellified college career. So any team, for the most part, they needed a quarterback. There was multiple teams that were willing to draft Caleb Williams. Physically, he has predominantly, majority of the tools that you want a quarterback to have. But to me, the most important skill set a quarterback can have is his decision making and other mechanics. Basically, you mentioned his accuracy. I know exactly what play you was talking about. That was DJ Moore.
Why?
DJ Moore.
He had walk-in touchdown.
Yeah, the corners went to each other, and I don't know why he tried to lead. He could have just gave it just straight on a rope almost to Moore, because he was by himself.
Yeah.
But he was trying to lead him to I don't know where, because it wasn't the end zone. He threw it out of bounds. So, and then he had another play where the receiver was going across the middle. He threw it too far.
Yeah.
So that's mechanics. You can see, and I heard somebody mention this when I was listening to the radio. Williams is a lot more comfortable on the move. He's more comfortable on the move than throwing from the pocket. He's going to have to straighten that out, because in the NFL, majority of your throws are going to be in the pocket, especially when you're trying to get the ball out faster. You can't move or every play. So I believe he has the physical tools. Now, put them together, I think Ben Johnson will get him there, because I don't want to put this, because there's only one game with Ben Johnson. I do believe Ben Johnson can get him, will definitely improve, but you want to see how much he will improve under Johnson, because Caleb Williams is supposed to be that next dude. He's just going to be a quarterback. Oh, he's barely improved, but still not making that big impact. Like Caleb Williams was supposed to be like Trevor Lawrence was. They both came into the league. Lawrence more than Williams as golden boys. Lawrence hasn't got there yet. So would that be the same fate so far with Williams? I believe Williams has a better coach that can get him there. Trevor Lawrence, he's thrown to the abyss. He came in as a league as this golden boy, and now he's in the abyss. People don't really talk about. He got his money, but so yeah, he's just gonna have to. I see his physical tools, but like I say, decision making and his accuracy, his mechanics. I just have faith Ben Johnson would get him there, but I want him to really take a step up, not just be a better quarterback. Because right now he's playing below average, quarterback. So.
Gotcha. Dante, well, go ahead, Coach. Since you already amped up, so your thoughts on that game and Caleb Williams in particular.
These Texas boys sometime, man. Williams, you got a new coach, new offensive coordinator. It take a year or so. I think he got they got to use him what he's talented at. He gets pretty good on the run, but use him sort of like, I don't know, like Lamar Jackson in a sense. I say take off the black fingernail polish. I think it'll sort of brighten this game up. But Chicago, man, they make dumb decisions, man. The coaches seem like they always seem to panic. They don't do a balanced attack. They're trying to just go one way. You can't do that late in the game. You got to mix it up. And they sort of get lackluster. And they do that every time. Last 8 minutes of a game, they'll just start making dumb decisions. And Shawnee, the best talent a quarterback can have is one that's able to read a defense, because he'll always find the open man.
Yeah, decision making.
No, you got to read it and react. You know, you got to be able to see it, then react to it. Yeah, if you can get the ball to them, but most of them that read defenses, I have success. You know, even Eli Manning, he might look funny out there, but he can get that ball there. So it's gonna be interesting, man. Caleb Williams, I wouldn't compare him to Trevor Lawrence though, but you know they both won 8 games together. They won 5 games. So
no, I'm talking about coming into, like, they finished their respective college careers.
The height that they had.
Yeah, they were supposed to be the Golden Boys, but one of them already been thrown to the abyss. I'm just hoping Caleb Williams is not following him to that abyss.
Yeah,
he better win.
Yeah, for sure. Dante, you want to get your thoughts on this before we move to the next block?
Yeah, Caleb, and it's starting to get a little, like, when I saw them check downs, and I was just like, okay, you making completions, but you holding the ball too long, and then he's having to scramble around. Like, the mobility is good, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's going to be a total bust because it's only been 1 year and 1 game. But I would say him and Ben Johnson, they got to get it together as far as what he's going to do as his strengths, and then working on developing in the offseason probably some stuff like Shawnee. I'm with you. He's going to have to work on getting better from the pocket, but they're going to have to try the boots and different things and then have some counters. I do like that he has 2 good tight ends, but they gotta get the line meshing and moving people off the football. They got to get it. They got to get a running game, and that'll help out a lot.
Gotcha.
You know what, Dante? I just noticed your microphone. I thought he moved up.
Yeah, my man's moving up. Yeah, he's stepping up his game here. Got the boom now.
I try. What I will say is, I crapped on the JJ McCarthy draft pick, and I will say he showed me a lot. And I it's real early to tell, but throwing that pick 6 and coming back and making it, I loved in the locker room where they say, hey, they put that Captain C on you and they gave him props. I really love that. And I figured, hey, I'm not going to say that they're going to be a contender, but they're going to be a feisty team in the playoffs. And I like what I saw. And then shout out to, forgot the defensive coordinator again for the Vikings. He just continues. I forgot his name. Flores. Brian Flores.
Brian Flores.
He made this out there
cooking up good schemes. He figured it out. And I don't know if he might be in that place where he'll just forever be that defensive coordinator, and he'll get jobs, and he'll come up and like, what was the guy that used to drive the Cowboys? Jim Johnson up in Philly. Never a head coach, but used to give people fits. I hope he can keep working with that in his career. But kudos to the Vikings for what they're able to do. And I mean, I'm hoping it's not all bad, because Chicago is so cursed with quarterbacks. I felt like you finally got a good one, and it's gonna really suck if Fields, I know he lost on Sunday, if he comes out and be something and then Williams is not, that's going to be just their luck, just their history.
There you go. Shout out to our guy Hink. Follow Hink in the basement. Sorry about your boys and the enduring struggles being a Chicago Bears fan. You got to go all the way back to 1985 to have any kind of good feeling. So sorry about that. But in any event, let's move on to the next big game, game 1 of the week. So certainly you had the Ratbirds once again stink up the joint. You're up 2 scores, 2 touchdowns with under 10 minutes left in the game. Certainly Josh Allen and the Bills come back and win 41-40 in the game here. And for some reason, these guys wanted me to show these stats. So you see here the stats side by side. They're obviously very comparable. Again, the quarterback rating for Lamar Jackson, 144.4, very impressive. All those things. But bottom line, he didn't get it done. And unfortunately, again, I'm going to be asking all year. All you guys, look, first of all, I'm a Steelers fan, so you know I'm gonna give some hate. So that's just, you're going to have to live with that. But nevertheless, how many shots, how many excuses are we going to make for Lamar Jackson? I understand it's a team game. I understand it's 49 players. I get all of that. But sometimes, like a Josh Allen, sometimes you just got to go and win it. Now, again, Josh Allen's Achilles heel has always been Patrick Mahomes. But you saw it in the division game last year when they were heads up, he pulled it out. And certainly you saw in this game here, his team was down. He still had the moxie. He still let him down to win. Lamar, you're up 2 scores or whatnot. You can ice the game. You can close out, but you didn't score in the drive. Yes, I understand Henry fumbled the ball. That was a key fumble at the wrong time. I get all that. I get your tight end last year. I get it. He dropped a short touchdown pass last year. I get all that. But sometimes you're a 2-time MVP. Sometimes you got to be that dude. And I'm waiting for Lamar Jackson in the big games, not beating up on lesser talent, in the big games. When are you going to be that dude? So you guys, so again, I might be the only one hating on Lamar, but obviously everyone else is a Lamar apologist. So I'll give it to Shawnee first. We'll go down the line here. But once again, they find a way to lose in the biggest moments, on the biggest stages. Sunday Night Football, and rematch of last year. This was your statement game. You had it in grasp, and you let it get away. Same old Ravens every single year. Shout out to the black and gold, Steeler Nation, all day, every day. But that's my rant. That's my little dance on the Ravens. But Shawnee, take it away, sir. And what's your justification once again for this outcome of the Ravens? The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, when I sent you these screenshots and these stats, and I asked you, like, are you a believer in Lamar Jackson yet? And apparently, you're still bitter about him. But nah, I can't put that game on him. This game. The reason I gave these stats because it was easy because game 1, so they only played each other, so it was a perfect time to compare that single game.
It sounds like moral victory to me, but go ahead.
No, because he had a running back that had almost 200 yards rushing. Henry was killing the Bills. And I mean, why do Jackson need to put a game together like Allen ultimately did? Because his running back was killing him. So Jackson did what he did, like that one play where he escaped that potential sack. That's just that was just lethal. But yeah, Henry, and then I believe Henry scored the very next play, a long touchdown run. So he didn't have to put a game together like this, like Allen did. But what Allen showed you is if you just give him the ball, because the Ravens was up, what was it, 25-15?
They were up 15 in the fourth.
15 in the fourth quarter.
And the Bills fans, like the Miami Heat did back in,
they left
the stadium
and tried to get
over.
Yeah.
But after Henry had to fumble, Allen immediately led his team to a touchdown, and then the defense. Cause I don't think they didn't have too many 3-and-outs the whole game, but they got the crucial.
And the crucial.
So, and then, of course, Allen led them to Coleman almost would have screwed it up. I think he would have ran that for a touchdown instead of kneeling it. But thankfully, he got tackled. That's what allowed him to run the clock down. But I want to ask y'all this. Okay, so that play, the series that the Ravens had, that 3-and-out, what was it? 3rd and 3? And like I mentioned, Henry was killing them on run. Yes, he had the fumble. But it's not like he has a history of being a fumbler. So he was killing them on the run. Or, Lamar, you could have just did it like a quick, rollout, whatnot, and have him pick up the 3 yards. Did you think it was the right play for Harbaugh to make, punting that ball? Because by this time, Allen was cooking. And you literally just said, here, give us the ball. And knowing he don't even need a touchdown. He just need to get in field goal range. But do you think Harbaugh made a mistake on not going for it on that 3rd down when he clearly had he had 2 players who he could have put the ball in their hands, but he chose not to. And
you guys are hearing this deflection, right? Deflection. It's deflection. Blame
You
Harbaugh.
can't put that
Blame
game on-
blame everybody else. You got
Hold on.
you Lamar guys are just you guys are too much.
I gotta step in here. I gotta say this, Mr. Bennett. I appreciate your commitment to hating on a division rival. Any chance I get, I will crap,
Dwight Howard.
crap on Jalen Hurts, but I can't because he's a Super Bowl champion and the Super Bowl MVP. So I gotta bite my tongue on my Jalen Hurts takes. But what I will say is this: while I respect you, what you're doing, you got to look over to the right and see that this team gave up 41 points. But what I will say, the honest, legitimate critique is this: put the ball in Lamar's hands and let him make a short throw to ice the game. I understand Derrick Henry has rode you almost 200 yards, and he fumbled. So you should say, hey, Lamar, take me home. But instead they said, Lamar, take me home. And they did the read option. He kept it and they finally picked up on it and they tackled him. They should have went in there, like you said, Shani. I'll say they should have went in, but like, look, we got 2 plays to get whatever yardage it is on third down. We're going to have 2 plays and we're going to make it happen because the defense was porous. It's bad. Like this is not your uncle's Ravens defense. Mm-hmm. This is not the 2000 Ravens. This is not the 2012 Ravens. This defense needs some time. They need it. It looks like they should have been on the phone. They should have been on the phone with my Cowboys to get Micah because they can't get the pressure. And then the DBs are still. I mean, Jair Alexander was available for a reason. They just. I mean, but part of it was the DBs did okay. Allen was able to just move around because I'm not impressed by Josh Allen's offensive weaponry. I like Keon Coleman, but that proved that Josh Allen stepped up to the plate. You got to give him his credit for that. But the only thing I will say is I know we crapping on Lamar Jackson, but one thing we got to do too is Josh Allen has the MVP now. We got to put both of them, like I put in the chat, both of them got to get to a Super Bowl and win one. It's got to stop he can't get past Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, as we said in the chat, his team is look like they're on the backside now. You got to take advantage right now and make it happen.
So right now, who do you think is more likely to get to a Super Bowl if it's this year, Allen or Jackson?
I'm saying Jackson. I do think they outplayed them and they just gave that game away. But that's on Lamar. Lamar, you got to hold that L. You got the big contract. Just like you hold Lamar.
How y'all putting the
game up there and say you gotta. Now I will say you critique the defense for sure, but Lamar, you gotta get that.
That's why I'm glad y'all ain't called plays. Y'all wasn't offensive coordinators, man. All this was the offense. They came out inside the 40-yard line. You run 3 straight passing plays. What are you talking about? You got Derrick Henry. You gonna get the ball 3 straight times. We talking about that on the sideline. When we come back out here and get this damn ball, we up by 12 double digits. Man, your ass get ready to run the ball. You fumble, I'm fining your ass. Simple. You fumble, you got 175. We still got 8 minutes to go with the ball. Hey, Henry, listen. They came out with 3 straight passes. Soon I seen them 3 straight passes and they punted. I said they get ready to lose the game. The whole Buffalo Stadium with that minus 20,000 came alive again, and they just marched straight down the field. The defense looked slow because, again, Alexander, he really shouldn't have been back there. But then they had the ball again. So that's what I'm saying. It was a bad play calling. You don't do that, man. You in Buffalo. You got Derrick Henry. He done already been shoving them down. Man, you going to run us through this. You going to win the game for us, Derrick. That old running to the side, I just been running straight off tackle. Man, run over them. We ain't running no sideline plays. Lamar, if you see it wide open, take it and you get up and slide it down. It's game, but they panic.
Look, all I know is this. Josh Allen's team gave up 40. And still, he found a way to win. I'm saying, Lamar, you can blame the defense. You can blame the coaches. You can blame the coordinators. If you're going to be that dude, forget all of that. You're going to have to be Superman. Sometimes you're going to have to put the team on your back and you're going to have to deliver with your legs and with your arm in crucial situations. I'm saying he hasn't done it yet. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for that statement game, that definitive game of his career.
I'll put my money on Baltimore scoring 40 points more than I would Buffalo.
Okay, you can do that, but I will do this because since you say I'm the ultimate Lamar hater, I will say this: that fan that put his hands on Lamar, banned for life. Never, you
Yeah,
should
he
never
gonna
be
do an
allowed to a
interview
Bills
with
game. And
Netflix
that was
on.
awful. And I don't want to see any brothers getting hurt, any players getting hurt, period. But that was totally out of pocket, and that guy should be kicked out for life. So, again, I may hate on the Ravens because they're the Ravens, but, again, player safety and the health of the individuals or whatnot, not called for at all. And that whole, NFL and the Bills need to be as harsh as they possibly can with that fan who did that. So I don't want the health of any NFL player compromised in that particular situation. So, but yeah, so certainly, the good news about that is we're up certainly a conference loss. Steelers won, and let's get into that. So again, y'all must have forgot about the Aaron Rodgers. Before I do that, let me just get here. Let me $10 super chat from Anton. Appreciate the support as always. You got to forgive Lamar. He got into a fight with a member of the Bills Mafia and might have had a sip of his brew. That's pretty harsh. But I appreciate the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Yes, banned for life and all in us. Yeah, well deserved. Absolutely. But we had another game. So, again, Steelers, again, in a trading of QBs, Justin Fields with the Steelers last year, Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. Didn't go well for either player last year. They switched teams. A very entertaining game to kick it off at 1 o'clock. Aaron Rodgers comes back 22 for 30, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 244 yards passing. Against certainly, obviously, they got issues on their offensive line. The defense was terrible yesterday for the Steelers. But again, despite all of that, Aaron had to be Aaron in this game to deliver. Yes, you had Boswell had a 56-yard field goal and a 60-yard field goal, Steelers record field goal in the game just to pull this game out. But still, Aaron had to be Aaron to pull that out. And, shout out to him. So, again, very happy with this game. Your thoughts, gentlemen, starting with Shawnee on the return of Aaron Rodgers and just this game overall. I mean, what was your overall impressions of it? And Justin Fields, for that matter, because I thought, on the whole, I thought he played a very good game. But Aaron, like I said, he had to be Aaron in this game.
Well, Justin Fields, he did play a good game. So he was able to go blow for blow with Rodgers. They just basically ran out of time basically for them. But Rodgers just basically just showed, gave Steelers fans some hope to how the offense could look like when they just have a competent quarterback. You don't need MVP Rodgers to play, but you do need Rodgers that will get the ball to his receivers and let them make plays down the field. And many times, since over the past several seasons, just QBs just was not doing that for the most part. Now, I believe the Steelers' run game still need to improve. Their run game, basically, I didn't get a chance to catch the Browns game. But right now, 3 of the 14 AFC North teams, they defense is slipping.
Yeah.
So I haven't catch the Brown game, but 3 they, and it's not just this one game. It was last year too. I'm like, well, what's going on with y'all defense lately? It's just not a division that's pretty much known more at the entire NFL for the defensive physicality. Also, it just disappeared. But yeah, it was a good game because that game was at New York, so it's just perfect for Rodgers just to get back, versus on that team and that whole fan base. They just looking at this quarterback just slicing them up at times. You still see he got good zip still on the ball. Of course, he's very decisive with his passes. He sees a receiver, he's gonna give that receiver the ball. So it can definitely be it's definitely a positive for Steelers and that they have a QB that can definitely use the talent of their receivers. Metcalf, I think, is going to be a nice fit that Rodgers will be able to use. Metcalf just reminds me like a level below Megatron. He's not Megatron. He has that size, So once he catches the ball, once he gets going, he's tough to bring down because that one play with the speed, he has that. He's just a big receiver with speed. But Megatron was all that plus, But he just reminds me of Megatron, just his size. But that's it. But he's not Megatron. But
Gotcha.
I think Rodgers and him going to make a good tandem for the year.
Gotcha. Coach?
Pittsburgh better get their running game together, man. They're going to have to get their running game together. Aaron Rodgers, man, he's one snap away from being over. He's old. He's 40-something.
Jalen Warren is the primary.
Yeah, but they gotta get that together, man. The defense, I think they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be solid as always because Mike Tomlin don't play with the defense. But if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy and they have to use both receivers. You're gonna have to sort of mix it up, man. You have to. That's the way they're gonna work. Using the play action with Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the best play action quarterbacks in the history. Play action him, use both receivers, and I think they'd be okay. Who's their backup? Who's Pittsburgh's backup?
Oh, Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph, one injury away from starting in Pittsburgh, man. Then they're gonna be a Super Bowl contender. But no, that's it, man. Yeah, Pittsburgh start. It's a good win for him, man. I think it's a good confidence booster for Aaron Rodgers. He needed it. But also, man, Justin Fields, man, looked like he's came a long way.
He did.
The Jets gonna be hard to deal with. Right now, I'm scared of the Jets over in the AFC because they look like they're gonna be hard to deal with, man. But yeah, salute to them as a team, man. It's here, man. Football is here, man. Y'all gonna Cowboys.
So again, let's get we talked about Caleb Williams in the last block. So again, if Justin Fields going to be that guy. And again, Caleb Williams is Chicago just a place where quarterbacks just go to die, or you just can never sprout and be something there. That's the question. But yeah, he definitely looked very good. And I think with Miami looking the way they looked, I think they're going to be very competitive in this division. I think certainly the Bills are still the class of the East. Yeah. But, Jets, I think they'll be right there. I think they'll be in the mix, possible wild card sort of berth. I just want to give a super chat. Again, shout out to Anton again for another $10 super chat. Why couldn't Aaron Rodgers play like this with the Jets? This franchise is snake bitten. I may have to sacrifice a live chicken at their training facility. My man is Haitian, so he's, the practices that they be doing out there to get to get rid of hexes and dexes and stuff like that, but
you should have did that.
This is a typical Jets fan though. So I talked about the Bears. All they got to be positive to talk about is the 1985 Bears. The Jets is even worse. They go back to 1969 and Joe Namath with the finger and all that. So that's how bad it is in this tri-state area. You listen to WFAN. Anything with the Jets is exactly like this. So it's no surprise. It's no surprise that Anton. I feel the pain. I've grown up here for my whole life, so I know the anguish of the typical Jets fan, especially with the Giants also local here and sharing the same stadium with you. So you got that little brother complex going on as well. But in any event, appreciate the super chat as always. And but go ahead, Dante. You're I think you want to chime in.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say that basically. We looking at Tommy. I'm with you. Fields did look good, but because of how bad the Dolphins are, or I think that how they look, I definitely think that the Jets have a chance to make a play for a playoff spot. And Mike McDaniel is going to be a great offensive coordinator for somebody next year because he's definitely out the door. He's definitely got one foot out the door. You can hear the talk from Ramsey, what he said, and then the disgruntledness of Tyreek Hill. They might have to look at having a sell-off. The only problem that they run into is, you still got all that money set with Tua. And so if he's not the guy, then you're in a stuck where you're just kind of stuck and you just gotta make do and either figure out do you pull the trigger on a quarterback this year or next year. But kudos to the Steelers. I didn't know Aaron Rodgers was gonna still have a game like this in him. I don't know how many more he's got in him, but I will say for right now, it definitely looks like it's a good move starting week one. Obviously, you're top of the division right now, along with the Bengals. But the defense got confidence it'll get together. It's just that stopping the run, I think stopping the pass eventually, that's going to be something like Jalen Ramsey. That hit he added to end the game, that's football.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is
and that's why you got him, because again you traded Minka Fitzpatrick. You know, people were unsure of the move or whatnot. Jalen, he could be a wild card. He can act out, but for hits like that, and they also just made, because they lost Deshaun Elliott in the game, so they just signed Jabril Peppers, who got dropped by the Patriots, so he's joining Pittsburgh as well. So again,
Elliott out for the season?
No, he's probably out a couple games.
Out a
But
couple
again,
games.
this is just going to add some additional depth to the Steelers safeties. And again, big physical guy, hard hitter and whatnot. So they're definitely it's always good to learn with a win. But yeah, defense definitely needs to step up. Offensive line needs to clean up and get this running game going. And most importantly, yes, protect Aaron Rodgers. Guys got to do a better job at doing that. But we got one more football block before we get into the boxing. So again, we had opening night in, I think it was certainly the Chiefs lose to the Chargers, and incidentally their best wide receiver in Xavier Worthy basically runs into Travis Kelce, and he's out. I don't know if this is for the year or whatnot, but he's going to be on the shelf for a minute. I thought this was more the Chargers looking good, more so than the Chiefs not so. Certainly, with Harbaugh, that team's going to be well coached. It's the second year with their QB, but it just felt more like the Chargers winning it more so than Kansas City losing it. But is this it for Kansas City? Are they, especially with the loss of Worthy, who was arguably their best wide receiver, certainly the fastest wide receiver that they have? Is this a sign of things to come for Kansas City? Are they still the class of that division with Denver, even though they narrowly escaped against Tennessee? But with those guys winning, and then also you got the Chargers winning, what's it looking like for the Chiefs this year? What do you think their outcome is?
Chiefs, they'll be fine for the most part. 'Cause I remember last year they did the same thing. But they lost their first game, and then they went on like a multiple game win streak. They just know how to win. I mean, they will be, people will doubt them because they obviously not the Chiefs when they had Tyreek Hill, so they are missing that, But they may get that big play. They may get that big play, ability back when they get Rice. I know they got Worthy out. I guess the routes, they just ran too close to each other. You're going to lose that battle all the time. You're going to run into Kelce like that. But I think they'll be okay. But their strength now is not their offense. It's their defense. So that defense has to come. That's been their strength for like the past 2 or 3 seasons. So once that defense get back online, then it'll give time for the offense to catch up. Mainly heal up at the receiver position, get healed up and then get their actual number one receiver back on the team, and then they'll be able to you'll be able to properly judge where the Chiefs will be, but they will be just fine. Like I said, one thing that organization know how to do, especially with Mahomes, they know how to win. So they did the same thing last year, and you always thinking they on the downside. They're just not the team that they used to be, but yet they still find some way how to win these games. So as the season goes on, they're going to still be stacking wins. And what you don't want to do is get them in the playoffs, because now they know how to perform in the playoffs. So now you're going to be dealing, even though you be thinking your team is, okay, we still got a good team, we can compete with them. They still the Chiefs. So you still have to respect that, because if you don't, you will be going home. So they had the same type of team last year. Many people didn't think they had any type of talent to go to the Super Bowl. They did. They got blown out, but they still went through the whole AFC to get there. So I know we were just talking about Allen and Jackson, who's going to beat them. It's like, man, right now, they just in a position, man, you'll believe it till they do it. Because Mahomes is running AFC. He just has the ability just to win those games.
Interesting. Coach, first of all, I want to welcome Shirley Mandrell to the show. Obviously, we have a big boxing segment But you're free to chime in on any of the football, as if you like any comments on anything that's been talked about so far. But we'll bring you in at the end. Let me get Coach and Dante in, and then we'll swing. We'll swing.
He ain't got no football conversation, man.
Listen, I told you, I'll talk football now. I told Mr. Bennett, I said, look, I'll talk football with you all day, all night. I can talk football.
Can't talk the hoop.
Can't talk basketball. Can't talk what you call that.
He only talks about real sports, though.
Yeah,
he only talks about real sports.
Real man sports. That's what I'm
man
talking about.
Sports.
That's it.
Go ahead, Coach. So your thoughts on the Chiefs? I mean, so again, looking at the game, so you got the Ravens, you got the Bills, you got again San Diego looked pretty good, or L.A. I keep on saying it. Los Angeles looking pretty good here, but again, in the end, do you think the Chiefs will still be there, or is it Kelsey's older? And, shout out to Anton again. They were partying it up in Sao Paulo because they partied too long after celebrating Travis's engagement. So, again, is this the end line? He might be looking at other things now, married life and all that. So, again, is this the end of the line for the Chiefs as the dominant team in the AFC at this point?
No. They're in the away game, and they still had a chance to win the game late in the game. They lost a close game. That's a pretty close game. And again, even though they have a lot going on, I think, they'll figure Travis Kelce out. He'll figure it out. The Chiefs is there, as long as Patrick Mahomes stay healthy, the Chiefs are always going to have a 10, 12 win season. And with that now, with the other teams sort of competing, Kansas City can still be up in the final 2 or 3 throughout the playoffs. They're always going to be tough. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's week 1, man, and I don't know, man. I think they next 3 or 4 games, they might have a chance to win all of them. But
well, I think they need to find a replacement for Worthy. I mean, that's a huge loss to them because he was projected to be the number 1 receiver. So outside of Kelce, of course, but that's tough one. But Dante, your thoughts on the Chiefs? So again, their thoughts on the game, prospects for the division, or the conference. Are the Chiefs? Are they going to still be there at the end, competing with those guys, or is this going to be a down year for them?
I think they could be there at the end, but it's getting bad for them quick because they lost the first game, and then they got the champs coming to town. They got the Eagles coming to town for a Super Bowl rematch. If you start out 0-2, we know the percentages of your chance to make the playoffs. On top of that, you got to wait 6 games before you can get Rice back. He's coming back from injury, so you got to integrate him to the offense. You don't know how long Worthy's going to be out. And let's be real, Kelce is over the hill, so he can't be the dominant guy he once was. So I saw Tommy B put it in the chat. Tommy, I appreciate your hate for your division rival. I'm 100% in solidarity with you in that. You know how to get down. But I will say this: I think the Chiefs, they can hang around, but they can't do the whole play close games and mess around. Their margin for error is already small, but they gotta try to jump out on teams. They gotta figure out a way to get that running game going and get that figured out because they're gonna have to lean on that. Because Pat just running around and scrambling around and throwing it to Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't know how that's gonna really work out for you. So they're gonna have to figure out something quick.
All right, so real quick, and we'll get Mandrell's comments in as well. Who went conference winners right now? If you had to say right now, who's coming out? AFC, NFC.
Oh shit! Right now.
Right
say Steelers.
Okay.
Let's say Steelers.
Look, I'm riding with that too. That's my pick. I'm biased and petty as anybody here, so I'm picking the Steelers to come out. Absolutely.
I like the way they played. I like the way they played last week.
Yep.
I did. There's a lot of promise there. It just depends on how they take it the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
That's going to depend on. You know what I'm saying? The Chiefs. Well, it looks like just my little 2 cents on this. You can't keep doing the same thing, the same gameplay every season after season because someone's going to figure you out. These decent defensive coordinators are figuring you out from day one. They're looking at every game you played last season and the season before that, all the winning you've been doing. Cool, but it's hard to stay on top. So I think that's. So
did the Eagles break the Toads technique last year in the Super Bowl?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
That's a reference for you guys who don't understand that.
I would say not quite, just because everybody doesn't have that type of defensive line to kind of dominate them like that. So I think other teams are doing it different ways. Like the Chargers, obviously, they have a formidable defense, but they face them year in, year out, and they're finding a way to get them. And one team I will say, I'm interested to see how the whole division looks against them. Like the Broncos, I can't really buy them just because I don't think they're strong enough offensively. But I will say
that defense is legit.
Their defense is legit. So their defense is legit. It's going to give them a hard time. I think the Raiders are going to give them a hard time with a competent quarterback and a stellar young back. I think every team is gunning for them in their division, and that could cost them to, hey, by the end of the year, you just out of gas.
Yeah, maybe. But NFC is harder to nail down. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, NFC ain't what it used to be. Like Dallas used to be the powerhouse. You know what I'm saying? It used to be easy. Right off the bat, call up an NFC. Who's going to be at the top of the NFC? No, not so much. Dallas is trash. Okay, they're rebuilding, which is what they should do. Okay, but they're trash. Sorry, Dante. I like them too, but I got to call it like I see it. Nothing doing that. I think the team on the NFC has the best chance of being on top. Probably Philly. Much as I hate to say it. I don't like the Eagles, man. I don't. But I don't like the Eagles. But
Same here.
Keeping it real, they probably have the best chance of coming out on top, in my opinion. I think we're too early in the season to like say to like know for a fact. But after I say Game 5, I can give you my definitive. Boom. These are the ones that are going.
Okay, well,
you know what I'm saying? At about week 5, I can do that. But right now, to time it be, we know that the Raiders, they've been the worst team in the league for a very long time. I know you feel it's a hurt, Tommy, and it's okay. It's okay to have your feelings hurt. Just donate to that GoFundMe because that's the only way they pay players these days because they ain't got no money.
Shawnee, go ahead. Your pick right now. Who comes out AFC, NFC?
Well, I just go with the Eagles or the Lions because I still believe they're the two most talented teams in the NFC. But the Lions, we just talked about them. They got a new coaching staff, so I don't really know how they're going to really fare out. Talent-wise, they up there with the Eagles. But I just say Eagles only because they are the most talented. Like I say, I'm high on the Buccaneers because they will find a way. And if you beat them, you will have to skim by them. They will give you a heart attack before you beat them. So, and Washington, they coming up, but just if I'm looking down the roster, just go talent to talent, I'm going to have to go to Eagles. Now, AFC, I'm going to say Ravens. You give me Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, I'm just waiting on them. They should be the Super Bowl favorites. I'm just waiting for them.
The Raiders?
Play. But for whatever reason, when they hit them playoffs, the Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens. Okay, yeah, I'm about to say, Shawnee, what's going on, brother? The Ravens?
No.
No.
The Ravens you got a dynamic quarterback and a dynamic running back. Eventually, something should click. And I don't know. I will say the Bills, but the Bills is really just Josh Allen and crew. But the Ravens have legit weapons in multiple spots, but they just I'm trying to you are too talented not to get over the hump. That's basically with them. You got too much talent, and in some spots,
hang on. Thank you, Trey. Trey, I was getting trashed earlier in the show for being too hard on Lamar Jackson and whatnot. Thank you, someone who's learned to see the light. Who's learned to see the light and is willing to jump off. You got a lot of guys aren't willing to jump off the bandwagon, but I'm calling in.
I agree with Trey. He's correct.
That Monday, that reaction Monday is full effect right there. Lamar Jackson's only 28 years old, and this dude, he is a constant MVP. He could have won his third MVP last season.
It's been 8 years, man.
He can. Okay, then I think he.
Hold on, wait. So we calling him an underachiever? It's been 8 years. You know who else was in his draft class and it's been 8 years? Josh Allen. So let's call them both underachievers. One has 2 MVPs, and the other has one bogus MVP. Because my gosh, when they pull up those Lamar Jackson stats compared to Josh Allen, it's like, God damn, that was highway robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's too talented. I think he's going to get over the cliff one day. And besides, like I say, Now, when you have the weapons he has, plus this Superman he gets to hand the ball off to, that's why Ravens, y'all have to get one. Y'all done stacked it too much offensively not to get one. Now, if Lamar Jackson and crew do not get one while they have this current roster, because remember they just gave Henry a new contract. So if they do not get one, then okay, Lamar, all the arrows being thrown at you because it's not like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott never had the talent you had. You have these elite weapons, and you are an elite weapon. You can run, buckshot through regular season, but if you still all of a sudden you get into the postseason and you start skipping in and whatever, you just can't produce, then whatever people say, it's almost like with Dak Prescott. It was on one time with Dak, I'm like, okay, dude, nobody can protect you no more. You just got to go out there and prove people wrong because right now you're proving them right. But
I know Trey's dropping receipts. He's like attack, counterattack here. But we have the ultimate, the more the merrier on the show. We have the ultimate Ravens fan here, the ultimate Lamar defender, the one and only, the legend himself, R. Payne, joins the panel tonight. Always good to see you, brother. So welcome to the show. So what you got on this here?
Salute to the panel. No, man, I just got off the argument with Trey Ferg on my show. Lamar Jackson, what makes Lamar Jackson hold from ultimate greatness is the fact that he didn't get that first down. When after the fumble, they had the ball 3 and out, and the coach didn't have enough faith in him to go for it and win the game because they weren't stopping Josh Allen all fourth quarter. Who didn't know that Josh was going to march down the field and get that goddamn going field goal? I did. They didn't stop. They should listen. This is the thing that make when it's time for Lamar to be great, he comes up short. Now he didn't drop that pass last season. That was his boy dropped that pass. So I can't blame it on him, but I blame it on him for being in that position in the first place. But that game against Buffalo, I'm gonna end it here. He had the ball back. He had to get a first down. One first down. He got 40 points. And when it came time for you to get a first down to try to ice the rest of that clock, you didn't do it. Now, they didn't call the right plays. Who gives a shit, man? Half of your whole career is improvisation, right? Improv. You should have got that first down. And when it was 4th and 4, 3 on your own 40, I would have went to the coach and said, listen, man, this is it. We can't give those assholes back the ball. We're giving them back the ball. We're going to lose. We got to go try to win the game right now. Trust me. And it didn't
especially
happen.
on the road. You're on the road.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say this. Who didn't think Josh Allen was going to march that goddamn ball right down the field and get at least a field goal?
no, I knew he was. They was clicking by that time. They was clicking.
Should have never gave him the ball back. I would have went dying on the shield with the ball in my hand. That's what keeps him from being great.
So, RP, you putting that on Lamar or more on Harbaugh? Because Harbaugh made that call.
I'm just saying, listen, this guy has been in the league 8 years. You have enough cachet to say to the coach, I don't give a shit how you feel, coach. Give me the ball. And you know what? I blame that stupid play in Seattle on the Russell Wilson. Yeah, I would have. You know what? I would have told the coach, "Fuck you! I'm not giving the ball. I'm not throwing the ball. I'm giving it to the beast." And you know what was the coach going to do? So I'm saying that every so often the great quarterbacks tell a coach, "Kiss my ass. That's a stupid play. I'm doing what I want to do." We can argue about it later.
Shout out to Hank in the basement in the building. Sorry, I had to trash your quarterback. I'm sorry, Caleb. Awful down the stretch, man. I know you're hanging on to 1985, but it's getting further and further in the distance, my brother. So, but always a pleasure to have you on with us. Appreciate you guys being here. But yeah, we can talk about the Ravens and whatnot, and obviously throughout the course of the year, obviously playoff time is for him and Allen is when those guys need to show up.
That's
and
right. It's going to be a show.
So he's already off. He's already off the bandwagon already. So
I'm still a Lamar fan, but
so
he's got to come up great in the big moments. That's all.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Great with the football. You know, obviously some good games over the weekend, but we got a big fight coming up this weekend. So again, it's one of the reasons I had certainly obviously Mandrell on the panel tonight as well.
That's
So again,
right.
we got one of the biggest fights in recent memory. Probably the biggest fight probably since Crawford and Spence a few years ago. So again, Crawford taking the risk, moving up to 168 to fight the legend at 168 in Canelo Alvarez. On Netflix. I think this isn't pay-per-view, so you're not going to be spending $100 on pay-per-view certainly for this fight, but it's going to be on Netflix Saturday night. So let's break this down. I know Crawford, Canelo has made a penchant as of late, fighting these undersized fighters, guys moving up from 147 to 154, 160 to move up to fight him. Hasn't looked impressive, but certainly Crawford has been active. He's going to be the older fighter. Canelo's going to be 38 years old by the time this fight starts. And he hasn't fought in over a year. So, again, I know he's great. I know he is a very skilled. He's a tough guy. But is this the time when finally all that inactivity and age and whatnot catches up to him? And will this be, if he does beat Canelo, though, then where does he rate certainly on the all-time list in his career? So since I invited Mandrell here, I certainly want to give him the floor, and you can certainly chime in on this here, your thoughts on him. That we'll share with everybody here, but your thoughts on this matchup and who do you think comes out on top Saturday night?
Okay, just so people don't think that I'm being biased and know that I'm being realistic. This is a dangerous fight for Terrence. Okay, you know that I have Terrence picked for the win. Period. Because especially if Canelo doesn't get him out of there by the end of the fourth round, just turn to something else and watch something else. You know Crawford's going to win. You don't get him out of there by the fourth round, Canelo's going to lose. And this is guaranteed. You have to get, if you don't, he's going to figure you out. By the end of the fourth round, he's going to have you figured out and you're done. That's what the great ones do. And even if it's after that, you get him in trouble, he figures a way out of that too. When you watch Terrence Crawford fight, you really are watching greatness. You are watching a person who's going to go down in history as one of the all-time greats fight, and you have an opportunity to do that now. I'm not saying this to hype him up, fellas. It is what it is. I recognize skill when I see it, and it's not just skill like just like a Pernell Whitaker. People who have one or two great attributes, or Floyd Mayweather, one or two great attributes. You know what I'm saying? But they're not all-time greats because they don't have the total package like him. Like he's one of those people who has the whole package. Like you look at Alexander Usyk in the heavyweight division now. Like Mr. Bennett and I had a phone conversation. We won about an hour, didn't we? And we both said, listen, now with Usyk, you have to put him in the conversation of greatest of all time. In the conversation. So I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time, but if you talk about the greatest heavyweights of all time, you now have to put him in that conversation and consider him as well. He ran through the whole division twice. Became undisputed twice. You have to put him there now. Like anytime you do it, he did it twice. Everybody got a rematch, and he beat all y'all. So that's something. But now with Crawford, he's chasing greatness. Canelo's chasing money, and I think that's going to be the biggest determinant in this is their approaches to this fight.
And just FYI, Canelo's getting $150 million for this fight, and right. Crawford's getting $50 million. So
right, and Crawford's willing to take a pay cut for various reasons. Because number one, he's moving up, and he's not a title holder at 168, so he's not going to get the championship purse. Now, after he beats Canelo and he becomes undisputed, then he's going to get undisputed money. But he's chasing greatness. He's chasing legacy. He wants you to remember his name. And he said it in one of the press conferences. Every time he fights a marquee fighter and beats the best person in the division, everyone says, well, he never fought anybody. Yeah, he just beat the best in the division, like all of them. He moved up to 147. He ain't fought nobody. So he fights every marquee welterweight, beats them all, runs right through him. Then you ain't full Spence, you ain't full Spence. Spence has the accident, unfortunately, but then comes in, doesn't do a tune-up fight, gets right in there with Garcia, I think it is. But he takes a really good fight. You know what I'm saying? What was supposed to be a difficult fight. Errol Spence handles himself. After that, he fights Crawford. So no excuses. No excuses. He got in there, did his best, got his butt whooped. And I like Errol Spence, but that was a good sound ass whooping. Like, period. Like, you know, he ran through every time people say Crawford can't do this, can't do that, he does it. With clown shoes on, moonwalking. This fight, I think, is going to be different from that because, and Crawford, what people don't understand is he's moved up in weight, but Crawford trims down a lot to make 147. Crawford's walking around weight is 165, 168, 165. He walks around like that when he's not training and cutting weight for fights. So he's going to be healthier in this fight. You know what I'm saying? So there's things like that people don't realize or know about him, you know. And so I favor Crawford in this fight because of the difference in skill. I think that what's the name? Alvarez has a lot of city miles on him. He's been a professional since he was 15. He's tired. He wasn't good enough to beat Mayweather. He damn sure ain't finna beat Terrence Crawford. And I would put my life savings and my family's life savings on that fight. If Crawford and Mayweather fought, not only will Crawford win, Crawford will whoop his ass. That's my thing. Crawford is in the conversation with Tommy Hitman Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard. He's in that class. And Roberto Duran, he's in that class. So as long as he doesn't get caught with a good solid shot from Alvarez, because it is a dangerous fight. I don't want anybody to think that I'm just riding for Crawford all the way. No, I'm acknowledging. You know, Alvarez could be a problem for him. But again, like I said, Mr. Bennett, the great ones find a way to pull through. And I think that's what's going to happen this weekend.
You know, he didn't
hang on. So Arpan, you're going next, but I just want to answer Hink's question. The card itself is not great. The undercard, it's not even worth watching.
No.
So this is clearly going to be the card. It's not like back in the day when you had championship fights and stacked up, and it's not one of those. So I wouldn't even pay attention to the card or whatnot. Just tune in for the main event, and that's all you got. But Arpan, you can go next, and then we'll.
I'm thinking Crawford's gonna. I think Crawford's gonna win because if you look at a lot of fights, there's certain skills that some of the black fighters have that they have the number of a lot of Mexican fighters. It just happens that way, especially if they're really skilled. But Crawford didn't really impress me when he went up to 154 when he fought that fight. I know it was a tune-up. He wasn't excited about it. Wasn't no money in it. But he didn't really impress me. But I don't want to make that a false flag for this fight. He actually looks really good, man, for this fight. I mean, he doesn't look that much smaller than Canelo. Now, everybody keeps forgetting Canelo started at 140, 147 as well. Even though he spent a lot of time at the heavier weight. So, it's just a matter of, like you said, if he could take the early onset from Canelo, who might put some pressure on him, he's going to have to take a couple of blows. One thing, because Canelo's going to hit him. He's not going to get out of this fight without getting hit. So he's going to have to somehow, weather those storms. But skill-wise, I know people don't like Mayweather for whatever reason, but one of his best fights ever was against Canelo. He put on a boxing lesson for Canelo. So I'm just saying, I'm looking forward to this fight, man. You know what? Netflix is a son of a bitch, man, because they're making more money on this fight than any pay-per-view. Netflix stock is like $1,300 a share. Shit.
Yes, because I own some of it. and this is also, to put this out there, they're doing this. Not only Netflix is trying to be what HBO was in the 90s for boxing. And they're doing this. I think Mr. Bennett touched on this a little bit last week or maybe a week after that. But Shawnee and Shay and Coach Bergen are paying. They're doing this because they're doing away with pay-per-view. That's why, and this is their slow move. Like they did a few test things. Like everyone made a big deal about Jake Paul and how much money he was making.
Right.
Netflix didn't care because this was the goal from the beginning. They wanted to use those fights as test fights to see how people would what people tune in, how much money they would make, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? They tested the whole machine out. They go with a new money policy, and because like here, Mr. Bennett and I talked about this too. Like back in the day, you could watch. I'm sure our pain remembers and Coach Ferry. You could watch ABC and watch a world heavyweight, a world title fight. You know what I mean? There was no pay-per-view. And boxing
Well, they had, I think back then they had closed circuit. They had closed circuit,
Right,
and then pay-per-view came later. Yeah.
Right. But the thing is, boxing was the number one sport in the world at that time. Like
Yeah.
not even soccer was touching it. You know, but then as soon as they brought in pay-per-view, that's when you saw those numbers tank.
Yeah.
You know.
And then
So,
pay-per-view stopped being profitable because everybody was either streaming, stealing streams, the black boxes, devices. So they weren't even making money because, again, you're not going to get like who's the last time a pay-per-view really got off. And this got me off of pay-per-view period was the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. That was like the last time I really invested in because one, the fight took place 5 years later than it's supposed to. And I was done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. You know, so
right. That did everybody. I think that did everybody in. Like no one liked that fight, Mr. Bennett. Even Mike Tyson. Hey, I can't believe I waited 5 years for this shit.
yeah. And it was like $100. I think that might have been the first fight to break $100.
Right.
Like, you know, for a fight. So, but let me get Coach in. Coach, certainly he's got some history with boxing. Also, you give some perspective on it. So what your thoughts on this card coming up? Who do you like coming out? On this here.
Man, I just stick with the main events, man. I think what's his name?
Crawford.
Crawford go get at him, man. I think Canelo he done been bumped upside the head too much, and Crawford might be a little too fast, but. That's what I'm excited to see how that, because I think Crawford is prime for, you know what I'm saying, his position right now, and Canelo's been lumped up a little bit. But I think if it comes to a brawl, Crawford need to stay back out of the way. He can't get into a brawl. He go at the box. So yeah, that's all I got on that, man.
Gotcha.
When is it? This weekend?
Yes, this Saturday. Saturday night.
Saturday on Netflix.
Saturday on Netflix, absolutely. Now, I know we got Dante and Shawnee are still recovering from that, but I know Spence is their guy. Shout out to Spence from the DFW.
Yeah.
But that was I was like, they should have stopped. First of all, they should have stopped the fight probably 2 rounds earlier.
Yeah.
I thought I was literally concerned that he was going to get like permanently hurt. That's how much he was getting beat up.
And
but it was a big fight. So
is Crawford, because Crawford pulled off of him.
Yeah, it was
way worse, but he backed off.
Right, and every punch when he hit him with a solid, it's like he wanted to fall with every punch. He just had nothing left. So I was like, this is blood sport. This just stop this now. You know what I mean? But you guys, your thoughts on this fight. Who do you like coming out? Start with Dante and wrap up with Sean, and I'll give my 2 cents on it. And then I got a few for the boxing aficionados here. Always got to get the dream matchups up. So I got a couple here that I got keyed up. So Dante, your thoughts on this fight, and who do you think comes out on top here?
I'm gonna keep it real brief, man. Not just because I knew of Crawford's background going into this fight and how impressive it was, and how people were scared of him, and then I saw why they were scared of him, and it was just like, look, there's no way. Last I saw you just lights out like that, and now you got the big money fight, the big, fight for your legacy. I think he's gonna be hungry. I'm going with Crawford, man. Like hands down. Like I'm with it. I know Canelo. I respect him and what he's done, but I don't. I wouldn't be. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he won, but I'm really leaning towards Bud in this one.
Gotcha. Shawnee.
Yeah, I'm easy. Mine's is gonna be for Crawford, just because I'm going for Crawford. I'm excited about having another blockbuster fight coming down the pipe. Dante, I'm gonna holler at you to see if you want to watch it somewhere. I know, because it's on Netflix. Mandrell mentioned the test fight, with the Jake Paul and whatnot. But I remember watching that fight though. It was Netflix was stuttering a whole lot.
Oh yeah, they were showing stream. People were so upset.
Yeah.
because that fight was
Again, they were testing it because they
I
didn't
think
know
they
what
said
needed.
something like 60 million people
Yeah,
tried
They
to
got
watch that
people-
fight.
Yeah,
They
they
got
didn't
eyeballs
know.
on it.
You're right. The thing is, they didn't know that it was a test. They didn't know how many servers they needed.
They're gonna be
So
ready.
that's why they, he was spending a lot. But after that, there won't be any problems, man.
Yeah, I'm in the IT
They'll fix it.
field, and I know in IT before they do stuff, you got this, the beta testing and whatnot, and I hope that fight was a beta test and they got all their bugs out because I can imagine they have whatever issue. I don't care if it's a single blip. You're gonna be pissed off about this fight. So
No doubt.
get it all straightened out. It's a good thing it's on Netflix. I believe even with professional wrestling, you remember how they used to have once a month pay-per-view stuff. Then they went to Peacock. Now they on ESPN, whatever that. It's not even ESPN Plus. Whatever that huge ESPN package now.
You said
So-
professional wrestling is on
Yeah, yeah, and it just
there? They're on
goes back
Netflix
to
too.
yeah,
They
they're
got
on
Monday Night Raw on
Netflix,
there. Yeah, they're on
but
Netflix.
they're what they call premium live events. It's on ESPN now. And
Okay.
Those events back in the day used to be on pay-per-view.
Oh, like WrestleMania. and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So like I mentioned about boxing, you starting to see, and somebody mentioned UFC is already doing this too. Like they're getting off of these PPVs and coming up on this streaming.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically,
Well, like I said, I mean,
everybody's
there's
streaming
no money because
There's no
again,
money.
there was so many. The people found ways around just technology wise to get around buying the streams. I mean, buying the pay-per-views or whatnot. So
Yeah.
it's like it was dead because nobody wanted. You're not spending $70-$80 for an average card and coming out disappointed with the outcome of the fight or the ruling or the decision or whatever. So I think that was just a dying thing. And you got a lot more value back in the 80s and 90s. You got a lot more value for your money because every card was stacked. You had like 4 championship cards. Tyson would be on there. Then you'd have Felix Trinidad on there. Then you have Oscar De La Hoya on there. It was just stacked up, so you were getting your money's worth. But people are not willing to pay that kind of money for guys that nobody heard of back in the day. But my 2 cents on this, obviously, look, I would love to pull for Crawford. I just think he's got too many strikes against him. Canelo's never been hurt. I think to beat Canelo, unless you got a lot of reach or a lot of output, like the light heavyweight that he went up and challenged and lost the Russian guy. He lost to had much taller guy, was like 6'1", 6'2", long reach or whatnot, couldn't touch him, or like what Mayweather did with like R. Payne was saying earlier, the brilliant boxing display. But you got to touch him. The only guy who even got close to touching him was Triple G.
Right.
The guy, his neck, you look at his head, you look at his neck, he just doesn't get. So, I mean, and Crawford is an aggressive fighter. He's not going to be trying to be elusive against this guy, but can he hurt him? Moving up in weight, he has power at these lower divisions at 168, and all these guys who've moved up from 154, from 147 in his recent history, nobody can lay a glove. Even if you touch him, he doesn't move. And I think he's going to have to be able to back him up because not going to have the reach advantage and whatnot to keep him at bay. He's going to have to back him up. I don't know if he has the power to do that, number one. Number two is the inactivity. He's fought one time in a year, and probably over the since the Spence fight, he's had, 2 fights since the Spence fight in the last 3 years?
3. He's had 3 fights.
3 fights. But again, the inactivity. And again, he's the older guy, 38. I just think that at some point in time, again, I'm not saying he's not strong. I know he deadlifts over almost 500 pounds, and he does a lot of strength stuff or whatnot. I just think that's a lot to overcome. And so as much as I'd want to pull for him, I think if he's going to be there in front of Canelo, if they're going to exchange like Coach was saying earlier, I think it favors Canelo. I think Canelo, just because you don't think he has a lot of power, because, again, a lot of guys run. But if you're going to be in front, every guy who's gotten in front and wanted to bang, the only guy was Triple G because, again, he was a knockout artist. But he barely dinged Canelo in their fight, which I do think he won definitely in the first fight. The second fight, you can kind of maybe a toss-up. I thought Triple G won the first fight between those two.
They did.
But again, Triple G was knocking out everybody.
That's right.
I mean, putting people to sleep.
That's right.
And he could barely do that, do any damage to Canelo at all. So I think, and you talk about Crawford walking around at 165, Canelo's walking around like 195, 200.
Yep.
So again, I just think that's a lot for him to overcome. In that, unless he cuts Canelo, maybe it's an eye thing or whatever, and he can't see or swells up his eye or something like that. I gotta lean Canelo. In this contest, as much as I'd want to pull for Crawford, I just think that's just too many things. And again, if he does pull this off, then he's definitely on the GOAT list, pound for pound GOAT list. He just punched his ticket. Certainly if he does that. Thanks to Anton again for the $5 super chat. It's hard for someone like Canelo Alvarez to get heart when you have only 2 fights a year, Cinco de Mayo and Mexican. True, but again, the guys he's been in, especially at the lighter weights, he's been in with some killer punchers, and he takes those punches relatively well. And Triple G back in the day, 10 years ago, was the scariest guy in boxing. In fact, I have actually had that as one of my first matchup question here. So I have here dream matchups in their prime. So Mandrell, you'd appreciate this one. In their primes, I got Triple G versus Marvin Hagler at 160 in their primes.
Okay. This is easy. This is easy. I got this one easy. That's Hagler all the way.
All the way.
Hagler all the way, man. I laugh at that matchup.
I'm not laughing at this one. I mean,
here's the thing. You just talked about Canelo not being able to be knocked out. Hagler was. They measured the muscles in the side of his head and found out they're twice as big as any other normal man. Like that was a real thing, you know what I mean? Like he had like a natural born football helmet, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean for this one, Hagler has too much in his bag, man. Way too much in his bag. He could switch it like Crawford can. He could move. He could be stationary. And like that Canelo fight, Canelo can't move. He's not mobile. But Crawford is. But in this fight,
but again, Triple G in his prime is one of the most devastated knockout artists of a recent memory in the last 15, 20 years.
Gotcha. I agree with that.
But trying to beat Mugabe.
No, I agree with him now. Triple G is an animal, especially in his prime, an absolute animal. Okay, but you talk about any of the 4 kings, especially the king of the kings, Marvin Hagler. That is a monster. Marvin Hagler was a monster. Like people talk about, well, they can't be Mayweather. I'm like, you're out of your mind. Okay, these guys, Mayweather wouldn't be able to keep them off of him. The training Hagler had, the discipline he had, the focus, the strength, the speed, the switch hit, the ring IQ.
I'm saying you're going to have 2 guys that would be like Hagler Hearns. You're going to have 2 guys. It's going to be the irresistible force versus the immovable defense. Triple G isn't going anywhere. He can knock you out with either hand. And again, because you talk about Beast Mugabe. I don't think Beast Mugabe had Triple G power though.
Well, he certainly didn't have the stamina. He certainly didn't have the skill.
Yeah, Triple G was just like he was comatose in people.
Well, one thing, okay, someone in the chat, I think Black Man of Footy says, I think Mayweather would drop. Mayweather's not dropping anybody. His hands are too brittle. Here's the thing what people don't understand. Mayweather had very Mayweather has very brittle hands. Very brittle. He break his hands all the time early in his career.
He's strong.
He break his hands all the time, like trying to knock people out. He wasn't knocking nobody out. But no, he would not. You talking about the king of the 4 kings. No, thank you. That's not happening. Mayweather is not winning that fight. But Triple G, that would be a very aggressive, very exciting fight.
That'd be a slobber knock. That would like I said, that's Hagler Hearns too. That's
from beginning to end. Like for people who don't understand, Hagler versus Hearns, that was a fight where they really actually in real life didn't like each other. And the moment the bill from round 1, bing, they just went at each other like alley cats. It wasn't a boxing match, it was a fight, like a real fight in the ring.
Hearns didn't have the chin on the bottom.
back me up, Mr.
Nah,
Skillet. It
but now, but
lasts until-
Hearn said, Hearn said later on, I hit him with this shot. He didn't move. He was done then. It was like I got nothing left. So the knockout was inevitable. But
yeah,
Coach,
he gave him everything he had. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
for sure. For sure, Coach. Your thoughts on that matchup? Looking at those guys, Hagler and Triple G. I don't know if you've seen a lot of Triple G fights.
Man, I'm old school, man. Hagler, man. Come on, man. Hagler all the way, man. He gonna knock him straight out in 3.
Okay. Oh, but someone's getting knocked. Look, someone's getting knocked out. Someone's getting knocked out.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just a matter. It's just a matter of who.
It's
not a matter. It's not going the distance for sure. So, absolutely. All right, my last one here, since we are talking about Crawford tonight, and to your point, Mandrell, about again, this is his GOAT list. So where would you favor whether he wins this fight or not, right? But where would you put Crawford in this against these opponents? At what do you want to do at 147 or 160? He's going to 168. I guess Hagler would be in the conversation. So Crawford versus Hagler at 160 and in their prime.
In prime, okay.
All right, so go down the list. Okay. Who does he beat? Who doesn't he beat off of this list of his top 5 fighters? And we'll go through this here.
And this will prove that I'm not being biased. The number one in his list, that's my pound for pound GOAT of all time. That is, in my opinion, the greatest boxer to ever step foot in the ring. Still to this day, no one has ever been as good as Sugar Ray Robinson, because no one can. It is impossible to be better than Sugar Ray Robinson. The man was superhuman. He was not human.
We disagree on this one, bro.
You disagree. Fair
we
enough.
disagree. We talked about it, but we just.
He is not that. The guy isn't human. Okay.
He was a mutant in a time when, again, guys didn't fight like he was. He was an evolution. So it's almost like it's not even fair to compare him to the guys he fought back in the day, because nobody saw that before.
Fair enough, but here's the thing: you had plenty of time to adapt. What's the name? LaMotta beat him one time. That's because LaMotta couldn't be knocked out. Okay, you can hit this dude with a Mack truck. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, LaMotta beat him because his hands hurt, I think.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm done. Just give it to him.
But Ray Robinson, for me, I don't think Crawford wins that. And definitely for people who don't know Sugar Ray Robinson, Crawford is a monster. Hagler is a monster. Ray Robinson is a demon. Okay, Mayweather doesn't leave that ring alive if Robinson doesn't want him to. Okay, now, but now
we're not comparing the guys on the list.
Gotcha. Now,
this is Crawford versus the field. All right, so just keep it on him.
That would be a win for Robinson, in my opinion. Okay, Leonard. Jesus Christ, how do you get past that speed? You know what I'm saying? That's a tough one.
Speed and power. He had it.
Right,
he was a 5-tool power.
He was mean. He was mean.
Yeah. Don't let those pretty boys, the 7-Up commercials, feel in 7-Up.
Yeah, don't let it fool
He was a beast.
He was mean. Okay, that's a tough one. Let me move on to Mayweather. Mayweather loses in like 4 or 5 rounds. He's out of there. Duran, which Duran shows up? That's the question. He talking about
prime Duran.
I know, but has he won the title yet? You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Now, Prime Duran, before he won that title against Leonard, that's another monster. Okay, but so is Crawford. I had to give that to Crawford.
No, yeah.
It would not be an easy fight, though. That would be very high, very, very high difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with Hagler. Shit.
He's not being Hagler.
I got to agree with our pain. I don't see that. They got the same because they got the same a lot of the same stuff in that bag. But so that the Hagler one, it depends on.
I think Crawford's more skilled. I think he's got better skill set.
Has more. Yeah, they got a lot of the same stuff in that bag. But is Crawford more skilled? Definitely. More natural, just natural instinct and natural talent. Yeah, but that would be very high difficulty. Hagler. Yeah, that'd be the toughest fight. That'd be the toughest one. Leonard, I don't. Shit. I had to give that to Crawford because I'm just rooting for him to win. That's what it is. I think Crawford will win that one. Mayweather's not even in my top.
So you're basically saying that he beats everyone on this list except the Sugar Rays.
No,
he loses to the Sugar Rays, but he
loses to Robinson. He loses to Hagler. No.
So he beats Sugar Ray Leonard?
I don't know. Yeah, he beats Leonard.
He all over
He loses to Robinson. He beats Leonard. He definitely beats Mayweather. That's no contest. He beats Duran. But I'm just saying, if it's the hungry Duran, the one before he the Duran who showed up. If it's the Duran
we're saying prime. We're saying prime. So you talk about a man from Panama got nothing to eat, coming off the street or whatever, hungry.
Talking about the Duran who showed up.
Don't let him go to New York and eat all that steak and ice cream.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
Don't let him
I ain't
do
talking about that one. Now, if it's the one who showed up to fight Leonard in that first fight, bro, you talking about, man? I don't know. Wasn't much stopping. And the same thing with Hagler. It's the same thing with Hagler. All right, let's get you're still contemplating. Let's get Mandrell in and coach, and then Sean. Come back to me because.
All right, so R-Pain, your list. You've seen all these guys.
I think Sugar Ray. I think both the Sugar Rays would beat him. I think Sugar Ray Leonard, believe it or not, is underrated to a lot of people. He could hit harder than people give him credit for, and he was an absolute skilled boxer. And I think in his prime, he would win. He would have beat. I've seen Bud in his prime too. So I think Sugar Ray Leonard would have beat him. He would beat Floyd, and I think he would beat Duran. Just like I think he's going to beat Canelo. But he's not beating Hagler either. So I got Sugar Ray Robinson, I got Leonard, and I got Hagler over him. Floyd Mayweather, he beat Floyd and he beat Duran, all in their prime.
All right, let me go to Coach. Coach, you've seen some of these guys too. So what were your thoughts on Canelo versus his field?
Man, I don't think Canelo's
Crawford, not Canelo. Crawford versus his
Crawford.
Field.
Ooh, man, I think Crawford could probably. I don't know, man. I don't think he's gonna push nobody out of this list right here. Me.
So he loses to all these guys.
In their prime, yeah.
Mayweather.
I think he can beat Mayweather in his prime.
Okay.
So yeah,
and again, we're also talking Mayweather at 147 because I don't think it's fair. Because I don't think he ever fought at 135. Crawford.
Yeah, he did.
He might have came in, but I don't think he spent a lot of time. I think he got into his prime at 140, 147. So I want to see him fight Mayweather at 147. 135 or 130 or 135 Mayweather was dangerous.
But moving up in weight ain't the same as your preferred weight class. So I think Crawford would get Mayweather in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
If he had to move up to Crawford, he's already at a disadvantage. But because Crawford, he's fighting at that weight consistently. So if he's gonna beat anybody, I would say he would beat Mayweather. None of those other guys, because they was throwing haymakers and they was doing some real boxing back in the day.
He's in their league, Mr. Bennett. That's why it's so tough for me to accept Mayweather. Mayweather's not even in their league. He's not even in Crawford's league. None of that. No, he's overrated.
Hang on, guys. Let's get Shawnee. I know you need to pull out real soon. So, any thoughts on this list? I don't know if you've seen these guys, if you follow boxing like that, but your views on Crawford versus any of these guys on this, if you want to give an opinion.
Well, I don't have no issues with any of the names of the list. I'm glad to see Mayweather's not number one because I don't believe he's the top boxer. He's skilled, but I don't think he's better than the two above him. Well, I'm surprised. I guess I don't know if this was for a certain weight class. I'm surprised he didn't mention no heavyweights on here. So I don't know if this is.
Well, again, I guess his top five. This is Crawford's top five in his view. Who his guys are. So I guess him being in this class, so I guess he favors. So that's what I was surprised he didn't have him on there. So he put boxers that's similar to his size and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with it. I know a lot of people will put Mayweather number one, and I admit he was a great defensive fighter. But like Mandrell mentioned, he just wasn't that bang fighter. But defensively, he could put him against anybody. Mm-hmm. But I definitely have the two who are above him that Crawford mentioned above him. I definitely put them two above Mayweather. I didn't see too much of Duran though.
Well, that's because. After he beat Leonard in the first fight, it was clear, like after the second fight, it was clear that he was out of the 4 kings, he was the lowest one. You know what I'm saying? He's
He rebounded. He came back and won. He knocked out Davey Moore for a championship,
Yeah,
and then he fought Hagler to a standstill, which nobody would have thought at that time that he would be able to do. So he's he hung in there. The only fight he got dominated was when he fought Tommy Hearns, which is one of the most devastating knockouts ever. He watched when Tommy Hearns knocked him out. That was like, oh my gosh, he just deleted him.
He just killed him. Yeah. You thought he was Sean.
You thought he was
Hearns defeated this dude.
Yeah,
really,
that was it.
The way he got hit,
And he fell flat on his face too. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it was like out of a Rocky movie. Yeah, that was.
He fell face forward, like he had been like it's like
that was it. Yeah, that was one of the scariest knockouts. It's on my top 10 greatest knockouts of all time.
Did you hit this one?
Ups. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I shouted that one earlier. Appreciate it.
So
appreciate it. Yeah, but hang on. So hang on. But Shawnee, like I said, you free to stick around. We're pretty much towards the end.
Yeah,
if you want to stick around. But so again, man, Jarrell, you want to go back to this? So again, you've been vacillating all over this list. All right, we got a couple minutes here. I want your definitive answers on this list. All right, so
Gotcha.
Crawford, just go down the line, win or lose.
Okay. He definitely he wipes the floor of Mayweather. That's no contest. Okay. Mayweather's out of here. Robinson, no, he doesn't beat Robinson. Leonard, that would be extremely high difficulty. But Leonard, too fast. So, and I hate to say that because I would want Crawford to win, but I had to give the edge to Leonard. And to Hagler. He beats Duran and Mayweather, though.
No, that's what I got.
He beats Duran and Mayweather. Definitely Mayweather. Like I said, Mayweather shouldn't be on nobody's top 5.
Oh, the Hitman should have been. Maybe the Hitman should have been.
Well, again, this is his favorite list.
I get it. Yeah,
so it's not. We're not ranking the guys or whatever. So appreciate the $2 super chat. I can't put Hagler. I can't put Hearns in there because again, that chin is too suspect.
Yeah.
Especially after he got knocked out by Hagler the way he did, the way Leonard knocked him out in their first fight when he was at his prime, and he was actually winning that fight. He came back to lose. He got knocked out by Ryan Barkley. I can't put Hearns in, certainly not with these guys anyway as a result. But I'm just gonna give my rankings here. I think he can certainly beat Sugar Ray Robinson. I think Robinson was an anomaly for his time, but all these guys who came after him are in that level. That's the evolution. He was there before everybody else was, because back then boxing was, Rocky Graziano and LaMotta and these guys. It's like, look, I hit you, you hit me. Rocky Marciano, they weren't ready for that. So he was like a unicorn at the time. But I think the Sugar Ray Leonards and the guys who came after him. So I think certainly he'll best Sugar Ray Robinson. I don't think he beat Sugar Ray Leonard though. I think he definitely beats Floyd, and I think he beats Hagler.
Ugh.
Because, again, I think Hagler, again, he's pretty much straight up and down. I think he's got the power and the footwork to keep Hagler off. And as far as Duran, I think he beats Duran also in a heads up. So, really, yeah. And if he pulls this off Saturday night, I think he's in the GOAT conversation. Definitely top 5 all-time great fighter.
Does Crawford beat Benavidez?
Geez. Benavidez is another beast. That's why nobody wants to fight him. I mean, why do you think Canelo doesn't want to fight him?
Yeah, he doesn't want
and he walks around at 210. So we talking about Canelo. I mean, he's a heavyweight who fights at now he moved up to light heavyweight. So I don't think that'd be a good deal. I don't think that'd be a good fight solely for Canelo, and that's why I think he avoids him as a result of that. I think he wants no part of it.
Down to 168 for that money though. That's
for sure. But guys, we're kind of at a hard stop here. Want to end the show at 155, but I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thanks for our pain. Always welcome, sir. Mandrell, you're always welcome here as well. Great conversation on the NFL. Enjoy the games this week. Enjoy the fight. We'll definitely have a recap on Monday. So Mandrell, Arpain, if you guys want to come back and hash it out again, we can certainly do that as well. But really appreciate you guys being part of this conversation in the Baltimore area.
Don't forget, Anyway is on Sunday, man.
Anyways, on Sunday. Hey, appreciate that shout out as well. Yeah, the Monster. I was looking forward for him and Tank, but I don't think that's going to happen now because Tank is fighting. I don't know what he's doing. So that ship has sailed also.
Yeah,
but
no one knows. I think it might be over for him.
Yeah. I
It's
think
sooner
that's
than it should be. It's sooner, but he's got too much going on right now. You know, he got too much going on. Like you said about Wilder. If his personal life didn't get in the way, he could get in there and do something. But these guys just can't get their personal lives together, and it interferes with their performance in the ring. So
yeah, it absolutely does. Absolutely does. All right, guys. Great show as always. You guys make sure you hit the like button as you leave tonight. But we appreciate everybody being here. So again, for myself, for Arpain, for Shawnee, shout out to Dante who was on earlier, the coach, and our guest Mandrell. This is the One-on-One Sports Show here on the Black Men Unfiltered Network. For everyone else, take care. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Good night.